What's really good? What's really good? What's really good? Welcome back. Friday Night Live. We took a little time off during the summer, but football season's right around the corner. So we back. Will Gordon will be joining me shortly, but we got a lot to get into, a lot of great questions. I'm going to try to save some of the questions for when Will Gordon gets on air with us, but I'll definitely run through a lot of them now. Until then, make sure you guys are following me across all social media platforms. You see the handle there, Legend in Two Games. Make sure you're following the Sanchez Show. Subscribe to the Sanchez Show on YouTube and on Spotify as we get into football season. For those of you that have tuned in or followed me on social media, we do this every Friday night. Moving forward, I'll make sure we get started at 8:30. Then Will Gordon to join. We go through every pick of the week. We go through any of the trending topics, and then we answer your questions live on the spot. Vernon Brownlee will be joining us throughout the football season as well. If you guys remember last year, he was with us giving his picks. We had a successful year. We're going to have another successful year picking games. So we're looking forward to that. Make sure on Sunday you guys tune in with us. Real Fans, Real Talk. Shout out to my brother Trip Young. It is his birthday. For those of you guys tuning in, make sure you comment happy birthday to Trip Young in the comment section, man. He's out celebrating tonight. He may tune in. He may not. He's doing his thing tonight. He got some plans. But as always, that is my brother. So shout out to him. Happy birthday. Wishing him many, many more. With that being said, let's get into some things. Team USA survived yesterday against Serbia. But I don't think it was a situation to be panicked by. It was their third time playing Serbia in the last 2 weeks. So there was a comfort level there from Serbia against this version of Team USA. And then also Serbia was lights out early in that game shooting. I mean, I think they had 16 threes through the first 3 quarters. They got cold in the fourth, but they were knocking down damn near every opportunity. And so Team USA had to scrap and fight. And Team USA didn't play bad. It was just that Serbia was shooting so well early in that game that they built up that lead. Team USA had to rely on some of their fundamentals, defensive fundamentals, and then rely on their big three. Steph Curry was amazing last night, or yesterday afternoon, I should say, in keeping them in the game early on. Kevin Durant had some big shots late. I thought Braun was the veteran presence that you need in those type of moments, running the point guard situation for them, but also finding a way to get his offense going when he needed to and distributing when he needed to. And then Joel Embiid. I know we've talked a lot about him on Real Fans, Real Talk. I know there were people that have been critical of him. I know that some people wondered if he even deserved to be on his team. He earned his keep yesterday. He earned his spot yesterday against the Joker. We needed everything Joel Embiid gave Team USA yesterday, and he showed up. And we're going to need him again tomorrow against France. I know early on the indications are that Team USA is a heavy favorite. Last time I saw the lines, Vegas had Team USA favored by 15.5 points. I think that's a little high, but we're going to need Joel Embiid against Victor Wembanyama, against possibly Rudy Gobert. It'll be interesting to see how they use Rudy because he's kind of fallen out of their rotation, which is crazy to think. A guy who was a multiple-time defense player in the NBA, one of their better players, for some reason, just can't get playing time during these Olympics. So that will be something to keep an eye on for tomorrow. But I think Team USA did what they had to do yesterday. They survived. They got their scare. And they did what they had to do late defensively. They made some great plays. The Embiid block, the Steph steal. There was a point in that game when Embiid goes on a personal 7-0 run. But that personal 7-0 run also started what became an overall run by Team USA because at one point they had hit 10 straight shots from that point forward to ultimately take the lead and then win the game. So a lot to take away from that Team USA game. I think there was a lot to be excited about. I think we should not be too concerned or too worried about how close that game was because, again, that was the third time playing Serbia in 2 weeks. There was going to be a level of confidence from Serbia feeling that, hey, we can hang with these guys. We've seen them a couple of times, and maybe Serbia felt they didn't play their best game. Joker obviously plays these guys all the time, so he was comfortable in those matchups and knew what to expect. And Serbia, they put a scare in the Team USA. That's to be expected. Team USA is everyone's quote-unquote Super Bowl. We are everyone's NBA Finals matchup. So we're going to get moments where teams are going to give us their best shot. They survived it, though, ultimately. Let's get to some of the questions that we got in here, though, man. Shout out to Ron, who was the first comment of the day. I see Ron in here. I see Kyrie Thompson in here. Who else we got? Those are the questions there from them two guys. So let's start with Ron. It was the first question of the night. USA just gets by Serbia after trailing by 13 going to the fourth. We were all worried. Were you all worried? And boy, did Wardell have one of the best games in USA history. Embiid been balling as of late. As I mentioned, Embiid was amazing yesterday. And I don't know if I know everybody will talk about Steph, but I don't know if they win that game without Embiid. That personal 7-0 run he goes on, he draws the offensive foul against Joker, and then the block as well. I don't know if they win that game. His offense was so vital to what they needed in that moment when they're down double digits still. When he goes on that personal 7-0 run, I believe they're down 12 at that point. They needed that. They needed someone else to go to because up until that point, it was only Steph. KD had not hit any major shots yet. LeBron was affecting the game, but he wasn't dominating in any way. So they needed someone else to kind of complement what Steph was doing. Steph was spacing the floor with all this three-point shooting. Embiid gave him that. Embiid was amazing. I was worried when Serbia went on that run in the third quarter because I thought coming out of half, okay, Serbia shot well. They're up. It's cool. Team USA will have to lock in the second half. I expected Kerr to tighten up his rotations, which is what he kind of did as well. But when they go on a little bit of a run, Team USA goes on a little bit of a run, and then Serbia pushes the lead back out to 13, that's when I got worried because it almost felt like Team USA had kind of wasted their energy to try to get back in the game. And then now you're still down 13 going into the fourth. Keep in mind, these are 10-minute quarters, not 12-minute quarters. So that 2 minutes makes a major difference. But the 2 fouls on Joker, I think played a major part. And they were both fouls on Joker, the push of Anthony Davis in the back, and then the offensive foul when he did the wraparound on Joel. Those were big because it kind of limited what Serbia could do offensively. You kind of saw Joker start to stand further away from the paint and try to be a distributor. And it kind of took him out their rhythm a little bit as well because Joker could not be as aggressive as he wanted to be those last couple minutes of the game. And then the 6-point possession changed a lot of momentum as well. Again, you're down 9 points at that point. I'm sorry, actually, they were down. They get it to 5. They were down 11 actually at that point. You get the Durant 3 with the foul from Joker on Anthony Davis, and then Booker hits a 3 right after that. And immediately it goes from an 11-point game to a 5-point game, and you felt the momentum change. And then Team USA defense got a little better. Serbia, I think when they watched the tape again, Bogdanovic was great yesterday as well. A lot was made about him going back and forth with Melo. I loved it. But Serbia will look back and they'll be mad at themselves because they missed a couple open threes late in that game when they probably could have delivered the knockout blow. And they missed the shots that Team USA was not missing. As I mentioned, at one point, Team USA makes 10 straight shots to get back in the game and ultimately take the lead. So, Ron, I was a little worried going to the fourth when I saw Serbia going that run to push the lead back up to 13. I calmed down once we got that 6-point possession, if that makes sense. I'm going to come back to your next question, Ron. Let's go to Kyrie. Does Steve Kerr have something personal against Tatum? So you had a DNP early in the games, then played the next game, then started one right. No minutes at all in this one. Great question. Shout out to Kyrie. I don't think it's anything personal. And shout out to my brother Trip Young again. It's his birthday. I have reached out to him yesterday. We were talking. I think something's going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And the reason I say that is Tatum's body language to me was somebody who was frustrated when this game first started. If you go back and rewatch the game, early in the first quarter, when Steph goes on that run of knocking down threes, Tatum isn't cheering. Tatum is sitting on the bench. There's another clip in the second quarter when Team USA is kind of struggling, where Tatum is sitting there with his arms crossed, and he already has the look of frustration. So there's something going on behind the scenes with Tatum and with this team. I don't know if just Kerr feels like Tatum can't contribute what he needs. And I don't mean that in a negative way against Tatum's game, but maybe just what they need from Tatum is not what he's willing to sacrifice right now. But something's definitely going on there. You can see it in his body language very early. His mom came out very quickly on social media saying he's not injured, and I would like to know what's going on, which to me was crazy in itself, that his mom is kind of taking them jabs as well. This is supposed to be about Team USA, and the fact that it's being turned into Jason Tatum and what's going on with Jason Tatum, I think overshadows what we saw, the performance from Team USA and what's going on with Team USA. Shout out to Will Gordon. Will, I'm about to bring you in right now. But I think there's something going on behind the scenes. I don't think it's personal between them. Something is going on behind the scenes that for whatever reason, Steve Kerr does not trust Jason Tatum in these games. You saw it yesterday. He went with Anthony Edwards over Jason Tatum. He obviously went with Derek White over Jason Tatum. Something. My brother Will Gordon's in the building, though.
What it do, baby?
Yeah, bro.
What it do, baby? How you feeling, bro?
I'm happy to get back to the Friday Night Lives, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, man. It's been a minute. For real.
I told the people when we started, we kind of took the summer off a little bit, but football season's right around the corner, so we had to get back to it.
Oh yeah. It's that time of year. 'Tis the season.
Listen.
La 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 and all that good shit.
You already know. I was trying to save the questions till you got on the live. So I only answered Ron's question and then this question from Kyrie. I'm gonna leave this one up for you, and that way you can give me your thoughts on this.
Okay.
And I don't know if you can see the question, but it says, does Steve Kerr have something personal against Jason Tatum? He had a DNP early in the exhibition games, then played the next game and started one, but no minutes at all yesterday. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if it's more of a personal beef. Like I wouldn't know if that has something to play in it. But I just don't think Jason Tatum is like a likable dude around with the old school NBA cats, Kirby and one of them. I'm Mr. Unpopular Opinion, you know what I'm saying? So I come from left field with stuff. If people forget, it's been a while. But I think, because he's a highly decorated player, young guy. He's accomplished a lot in his few years in the NBA. Well, I say a few years. He's what, 7 years in now? Close to that?
I think 8 years in.
8 years in? Yeah,
Tatum
so
he's 26, 27.
Yeah,
right
he a young vet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it turned a lot of people off the way he be trying to keep acting like him and Kobe was like freaking frack. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
as if the spirit of Kobe lives through him only, right?
Yeah. Let that man rest in peace. Every time he do something, he gotta bring up Kobe. And I've seen people even say Kobe probably you would see him on his call ID, be like, this nigga again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Send him straight to voicemail and whatnot. I think it might be something more like, not because it ain't about basketball. Team USA ain't about basketball for real. They got some stars over there, and they got some names, but this ain't the best team they could have sent over there if we being real. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of politics that goes into that, but Tatum, I feel like I thought he was handling it well. So where's this stuff coming from? You say it was from his mama?
So there was a question posed by someone on social media about I wonder if Tatum is hurt because obviously this is the second time not playing in these Olympics. His mom responded saying he's not dealing with any injury. And basically she spoke for him because she said, we would like to know what's going on as well. For me, like I said, his body language yesterday suggested something else was going on. Because if you just go back, even if you don't rewatch the whole game, even if you watch the clips on YouTube, there are points in the game when the bench is standing up and he's the only one not standing up.
You know what? I was just about to say, I rewatched the game. Well, actually, because I didn't watch it live. But I watched the game in its entirety today just for prep for the show. I don't even remember seeing him.
Yeah, he is sulking on the bench multiple times when the camera pans to the bench celebrating.
No, I'm seeing Halliburton out there with the pom-poms.
Yeah, you see Halliburton. You see Halliburton. There's that clip also when Steph, I think his third three in the first quarter, when the bench erupts and you see KD run down the sideline. If you watch closely, when KD runs down the sideline, one of the people he runs past is Tatum, who's sitting down. And that's in the first quarter.
Wow.
That's in the first quarter. So I think there's something going on behind the scenes. I don't know if his effort has been questioned. I don't know if he just doesn't like the role he's had. But Steve Kerr, I think we would all agree it's tough managing all these superstar personalities in a short amount of time, right? Because this isn't like NBA season where it's like, oh, we got 82 games to figure it out. We got 7 games to figure it out. And I got to go with the guys that I trust the most for those 7 games.
Yeah.
If for whatever reason he feels Tatum's effort isn't there, or he feels that his commitment isn't there, then Steve Kerr's got a tough decision to make. And I think that's the decision he's gone with. Now, what I think is completely unfair is that now this has turned into the Jason Tatum Olympics, where everybody's questioning, well, why Tatum ain't playing? Why Tatum ain't playing? As opposed to, we just saw one of the greatest Olympic performances by Steph Curry yesterday that we're ever going to see. We just saw Joel Embiid have probably one of his biggest moments in basketball yesterday, going up against the Joker and having the fourth quarter he had. We just saw Braun go for a triple-double. We saw KD hit some massive shots and one of the biggest wins in Team USA history, being down 17 points. And yet, most people want to talk about why isn't Jason Tatum playing. I think that's where it becomes unfair for Team USA.
And that's the difference in the new media, because, like, truthfully, I haven't even been checking for Tatum or even hearing about him. You know what I'm saying? That's people trying to push negative narratives, you know what I mean, for clicks. Because what I've been focusing on is what you were saying. Is Steph went off yesterday? Is LeBron's out here hooping on dudes? Is you see guys like Anthony Edwards stepping up? Like that's the stuff I'm paying attention to. Now they're gonna push the Jason Tatum stuff because I guess, you know, it's not a lot of purists really checking for Team USA. So it's you gotta get the people that's like more casual fans, and casual fans are scrolling the internet. So if they see something like that, they're gonna click on it. You know, that's what's popular. But it's not like they can push the narrative of real basketball, because real hoop heads aren't really paying attention to Team USA, and it just is what it is. There's no buzz around this team. They're having to force storylines.
I agree with that as well, because it's the same thing happened when Embiid didn't play. They're forcing storylines, but ultimately we're at the point where we thought Team USA would be at, which is the gold medal game tomorrow afternoon. We knew Team USA would be here, so there wasn't much drama aside from how close the game was yesterday. But these storylines have become manufactured now to say, all right, well, we can't talk about Team USA winning by 25 points because ain't nothing sexy about that.
Nope.
So let's focus on the fact that certain guys aren't getting playing time. I think that Steve Kerr's in a tough spot. You got to manage the guys. You got to go with the guys you feel most comfortable with. And every matchup isn't going to be the same. What you see from Serbia isn't what you would see from Germany, isn't what you're going to see from France. So you got to try to match up in that way. It's very possible Tatum plays 20 minutes tomorrow, because maybe he might like the matchup against France better for Jason Tatum. And if he does, again, this media narrative now created a storyline that really was non-existent. Shout out to Pooh. Pooh, she just let me know it was actually Dick Vitale who originally posted the comment, and then Jason Tatum's mom was the one who responded to it.
Dick Vitale's still out here breathing. Shout out to Dickie B.
He was just in the hospital recently too. Pooh had a comment too in regards to what we were talking about with Jason Tatum. She said, but Will, not to get 1 minute at all talking about Jason Tatum not playing. She goes, shit, now Boston gonna win close to 70 games. The NBA in trouble. I mean, I don't think the NBA in trouble. The Boston Celtics are a very good team, but I mean, they're not a juggernaut. I don't think the other teams are scared to play the Boston Celtics. The teams aren't scared to play the Boston Celtics. They are a very good team, though. But the point that Pooh made that I really wanted to bring up to you was, she said, doesn't Booker do the same thing about Kobe? I don't think he does. But go ahead, Will.
Does Booker do the same?
She said, doesn't Booker do the same thing about Kobe in terms of like
not to the extent that Tatum does. Like Tatum, not to the like Booker. I know what you're referring to. Like he does pay homage to Kobe, but not to the level that Tatum do. Like he be like, man, I pour my cereal. I pour the milk in my cereal just like Kobe did. I let the last part dribble. That's what Kobe would do. I mean, like the smallest little thing, he be trying to relate back to Kobe, because he got, you know, a couple pictures with him when he was younger and all that. And
they train together. I think.
I mean, yeah, that's true. There is footage of that, but at the same time, man, let that man rest. It's a whole lot of other dudes out here that got way more stories and connections and all that to that man, but they letting that man rest in peace. Just let that man rest.
Well, I'm gonna get to your other question about the Celtics in a little bit. I want to get back to the top. We had another one here. Ron. Thoughts on Kerr not going with Holiday? I think he meant Tatum because Holiday played yesterday. And Kerr, for some reason, wouldn't play Braun, Curry, and Durant together for long stretches in this game. He closed out the game with them. I think the reason he didn't, he was trying to balance scoring. At one point, let's keep in mind, Curry was their only offense for like 2.5 quarters. So I think he was trying to stagger some minutes. Once he was able to get everybody in the floor of the game, he did have them on the floor at times together. But that's what I think.
Also, they came out already and said KD starting tomorrow with Braun and with Steph. So now it's you know what I mean. The filling out period is over. It's time to go for the throat.
Correct. Right. No. But it was one of the things that Tripp and I recently spoke about because I said, remember, Durant missed some of those exhibition games, so it was also a matter of kind of getting him back in a rhythm and finding lineups that he worked with. Tomorrow against France, it will be interesting to see. We're going to get to this Rudy Gobert question in a second because Rudy has seen a drastic decrease in his minutes. But tomorrow you wonder if they use him and Wemby to kind of bring on their Twin Towers against Team USA.
We should be equipped for that, though. Like, I know the last time we played in the gold medal game was against France, too, right? I'm pretty sure the last gold medal game
4 years ago?
France.
Probably.
Yeah. So now you got Wemby out here, this, phenomenon, the true unicorn. But I don't think it should be no problem, though. Still, like, that's why you got guys like Bam on the team. That's why you got AD on the team. Dudes that can actually stretch the floor, defend the perimeter, and match his athleticism. I think that's where you saw the turn in the game against Serbia. Is in that fourth quarter we finally decided to show that we're the more athletic team, and you saw a lot of athletic plays where we were kind of overwhelming Serbia. I think that's what they're gonna have to do against France, because I mean Gobert's there. He's soft, in my opinion. A lot of NBA dudes have already shown that and exposed them as being soft. And then Wemby, yeah, he's a problem, but we got too many bodies paused to throw at him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it should be a problem. I think we should win the gold medal game by about, if we ain't lacking, we should win the game by about 12, 13.
My one concern with facing their two bigs is that we struggled on the boards yesterday. I thought Embiid was getting outworked on the boards yesterday. Even though Embiid had his moments, there was that possession late where Serbia got like 3 offensive rebounds and multiple possessions.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the one thing that concerns me, because if they're gonna keep one of those bigs on the floor at all times, then we got to rebound better. And if they're gonna have both those bigs, we definitely got to rebound. Like, we can't be letting them
all
get
3 times. All 3 times I know you're referring to, he was the switch man on the pick and roll, so he should definitely be there to scoop them boards.
Yeah.
And he was just lacking.
Yeah, he was slow. He was slow back to the basket. So that's the one thing that concerns me. Because if they're going to go big, then either we got to be shooting lights out, or there's got to be better effort to rebound the basketball. And as you mentioned, if they're going to go big, then we kill them with athleticism. We're gonna put Rudy in pick and roll and force him to guard out on the perimeter, which we know he can't do, and it just go to work. It's just going to go to work. You're going to pick at the scab all day. Kyrie Thompson said it's been announced, as Will said as well, he's supposed to play tomorrow. Kyrie also said, Kyrie, I'm offended by one of your comments. We're going to get to that in a second, though. He said, I guess both of you are not even watching Women's USA team. Kyrie, that's assumptive of you, but no, we're not watching, because Team Women's is winning by 30 every game. There's nothing to watch.
Yeah, I'm not watching either. I just watched the men on the replay. I ain't even watched that live.
I'm not. No disrespect to the women.
That's one point I wanted to make. You gotta find these games.
So
Like they don't. I don't think they do a good job of promoting start times and whatnot of these games. I'll be having to go down the wormhole on Google just to figure out what time the game starts.
I agree. Because even yesterday, I know Germany and France played early, but when I went on the ESPN app, they didn't even have the start time for Team USA. I had to go through Google to find out what the start time of that game was.
Yeah.
But Kyrie wants to know. He had a big ass debate with some young motherfuckers. Told me, because Braun is leading Team USA, that he's the best player in the NBA too. Braun can go hard for 6 games, pause. And he's not playing 38 minutes. Joke is the best. Your first mistake was arguing with a young motherfucker who probably don't know basketball. That's your first mistake. You can't be giving energy to people who don't understand the game and who are trying to analyze the game within a vacuum. LeBron James can do the things he's doing right now because it's a star-studded Team USA team that allows him to play 25 to 27 minutes. And again, they're not playing any back-to-backs. They get a day off. They get opportunities to rest. So LeBron can exert as much energy as he wants, knowing I don't have to probably play for another day or two. And I have all these other stars with me. That does not translate to a regular season or an NBA season. LeBron James is still a very good player. He's played very good in these Olympics. LeBron James is no longer the best player in the NBA. We need to cut out the bullshit. Would you like to add anything to that, Will?
Facts. That's all I'm saying.
Like I said, Kyrie, we appreciate your support. Stop arguing with young motherfuckers that don't know the game or that just started watching the game. They just started watching the game through YouTube and they think they know the game. It is what it is. He can look great in these moments, but he can't do that through the course of an NBA season. We know that already. Let's see what we got. I like this one from Tyson, so we're going to go to this. If we happen to lose the game, does a loss mess up some players' legacy or the biggest choke job ever if we lose? Will, I'm going to let you start.
Absolutely. If we lose tomorrow, then I hate hating on the dude, but I always do. If we lose tomorrow, and what do the announcers keep calling him? Captain America?
Yeah, Captain. Oh my God.
Captain America is going to have to take it on the damn chin, pause, because this is supposed to be his last hurrah, right? He's supposed to be the leader and all this other bullshit. If we lose tomorrow, his legacy's tainted. Actually, that's going to be probably the only one because it's Steph's first Olympics. KD's Mr. Olympia when it comes to basketball. And then you got a bunch of guys, basically. I mean, the big dogs is Steph, KD, and Captain America. If this just goes down as another non-championship for Captain America.
You said another non-championship. Well, no, hold on. You know, some of the biggest LeBron supporters will say, but he was in the gold medal game.
So what?
That becomes a debate.
Yeah, I know. Shit, I was at the prom, but I ain't fucked the baddest bitch.
But you was there though. You was there.
I was there.
I would say I think choke job pause will depend on how they play. If France plays one of the greatest games they've ever played, like yesterday, I thought Serbia played like damn near the perfect game. Serbia couldn't miss. Serbia was, they looked like the faster team most of the night. They threw out that zone that early on was giving Team USA problems because aside from Steph, nobody else could shoot outside of that zone. So if Team France plays like the perfect game, I wouldn't call it a choke job, but I would say it's a disappointment. Because this Team USA team is, by most accounts, one of probably not as good as the Dream Team. I don't think they're as good as the Dream Team, but there are some people who are saying this is probably the second or third best Team USA team we've ever sent out there. So it would be a disappointment. And as far as legacies, I agree with Will. If this happens on LeBron's watch, because LeBron didn't have to be a part of this team. Let's not forget that LeBron chose to be a part of this team as kind of his farewell tour to the Olympics and international play. So if this happens on LeBron's watch, absolutely, this should be something that's talked about on LeBron's legacy because LeBron didn't have to do this. He wanted to do this as his farewell tour.
And one thing I want to mention is if remember a couple years ago, what's the dude? He plays for your Knicks. Well, he played for your Knicks.
You're talking about French
Uh,
Fournier, Evan Fournier,
Fournier. Yeah.
he's having another great Olympics too.
You know what he reminded me of? What reminded me of him though was Bogdanovich yesterday. He was getting to his spot. He was giving dudes work.
Yeah,
Paul.
Bogey was going off yesterday.
He was hooping, and it's like when I look at that, I'm like, how are you coming off the bench in the NBA? You know what I mean? Like, is the NBA really that much of a system that dudes like him and like Fournier can shine against the best players in the world, but then when you put them in the NBA situations, they coming off the bench. It's just weird to me.
Well, Bogdanovich is in a weird spot because he starts sometimes for Atlanta, then other times they prefer him off the bench. Obviously, when they got DeJounte Murray, they would start Murray and Young, and they were bringing him off the bench. But a couple years ago, when they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, he was starting on that team, so he could hoop. The league knows he could hoop, and he was good in Sacramento before he even went to Atlanta. The league knows he could hoop. I think what happens sometimes with the international players is that they lack defensively, and in the American game, we emphasize like you can't guard anybody. Coach is gonna have a short leash for you. He's not gonna put up with your lazy effort on defense just because you might be able to put up 20 tonight.
So, yeah, because internationally on defense, you can just snack that thing right off the rim.
Right. Yeah. Internationally, defense is different. Like you see, even the way they was playing the zone yesterday, it wasn't like a matchup zone where they were like really tough on the perimeter. It was like they were just there. They were just in space. But they don't play an in-your-face type defense, and a lot of American coaches prefer you to be that. Also, we prioritize athleticism in the American game. The international game prioritizes skill and playing the right way. That's why you can see a team like Serbia, ain't a lot of athletes, but guys move off the ball. Guys know where to be. They know what spots to be in. So internationally, they love that. America, we want athletes. We want guys who get up and down the court, who cutting down the baseline, who could dunk on people. So I think that's the difference in the game. But Fournier has really been good for France again, which is crazy because he barely gets playing time in the league.
Another difference with these international teams is they play together like a lot.
Oh yeah. Every year they're playing together leading up to the summer games and the Olympics.
Like us, we get, camp, we get the prelims, and then we throw into the fire. But this guys just played together 5, 6, 7 years on these international teams.
That's a great point. That's why when you look at our current Olympic team, these were not all the guys who played 2 years ago in the qualifiers. Remember, that was the team, and even last summer, Jalen Brunson was on the team last year. There were other guys on that team, but then when the stars said, hey, I want to be a part of it, like Durant, Curry, LeBron, they're going to get the spot. And sometimes they haven't really been playing with these guys for long enough to build that kind of rapport. So that's another part of it too. What do we see here? Oh, I know you're gonna well, hold on, get yourself together because you're gonna like this. You're gonna like this comment from Tyson. He's talking about Braun. Wouldn't Braun, if he have lost 2024, which is this year, 2004 and 2006 in the Olympics? Tyson, you are correct because now 04, most people, including myself, will give him a pass because him and Melo, who were super young, Larry Brown did not play them on that 04 team. But they were on the 2006 team that struggled, and it's highly documented that after 2006, Carmelo Anthony called Kobe Bryant personally and said, we need you. And if he were to lose this year, you would have that on the resume as well. So he might be the only NBA player to have multiple failed Olympic appearances. What you think, Will?
That Larry Brown team, I'd love to get Larry Brown, buy him a beer and really pick his brain about what he was thinking for that team. Wasn't that the team with like Carlos Boozer getting minutes?
Carlos Boozer, Vin Baker. There was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot of guys that was like, it wasn't pretty.
And that's not even Larry Brown's like style. Like that's not like he usually lets the talent be the talent. Excuse me.
You all right?
Yeah. He usually I got this daggone McDonald's Sprite. You know the McDonald's Sprite hit different.
That acid, that battery acid drink.
Woo. Woo. I'm about to take some paint off the side of my house with the rest of it here later. But nah, that team he didn't let the young dogs run. And I don't see what the strategy was in playing all those older, less talented players. You know what I mean? So like you said, I can't put that one on LeBron, but it's just like society now. Anytime anything positive happens with LeBron around it, then it's all about him. And then anything negative that happens around him,
Is everybody
it was
else?
because of everything else. Yeah, exactly. Like you can't be it can't be both ways. You know what I mean? You're not the Messiah. If you was the Messiah, you wouldn't have all these L's. You know what I mean? So it's it's something it's more of a generational thing too. Like if you talking to cats my age, they gonna feel the same way that I do. If you talk to somebody that's 25 who never even saw MJ play, all they know about him is his sneakers, then they not gonna know. You know what I mean? You had it's like
Yeah, I
that's
had to
the
be there. Yeah.
ultimate. You had to be there. You know what I mean? Like you had to be in the moment because it was more than just basketball with Mike. Like he transcended the culture like nobody had until Allen Iverson came along.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Mike came, the way I sum it up is when Michael started playing, my mom started watching games with me. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't watching no basketball before Michael Jordan came. And then she made it appointment television to watch Michael Jordan with me. Like I remember one of my favorite moments of my mom is in the finals against the Lakers when he went up with the
With the
with
right
the
hand switch to the
yeah.
left.
I remember watching that live with my mom in the kitchen. And we was like, oh, and she was like, oh, that was impressive. You know what
Mars was at a loss for words. She didn't know what she had just seen
I'm
either.
saying? But yeah, we don't get that from LeBron though. He's a great basketball player. I tell people that all the time. He's a great basketball player. But there's a difference. There's guys that changed everything, and then there's guys that are great hoopers. Like guys that changed everything. Uh Kareem, Bill Russell, Magic, Bird, Jordan, Shaq, Kobe. And I can't say Bron changed everything because all those dudes made a mark as far as the sport goes. Now LeBron's been a philanthropist and all that, and doing he's been great for the community, very great for the community. But I'm talking hoops. You know what I mean? I'm not a social worker. I'm talking basketball. When it comes to basketball, all those guys I mentioned were more transcended to the game, and I put Steph in front of him too because Steph changed the way basketball is being played.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So that's that. I'm gonna just leave it there.
Nah, I mean, in terms of Braun, I don't want to turn it into a Braun and MJ debate. We've had those too many times.
Right.
Like I said, in terms of the legacy, yeah, I think if they lose tomorrow, it should be a mark against LeBron James. Because as I mentioned, Braun, he put himself in these Olympics. He didn't play in the summers, he didn't play in the qualifiers, but because he is still the biggest name in the sport, if he says, I want to be a part of Team USA, who's going to tell him no, right? He's going to get to go. And
Right.
he did it with the intention of being like the elder statesman and the leader of this team. And like you said, to be the face of Team USA, because that's what it is. He is the face of this current team. So if they lose, it should fall on him. it should be Braun let us down. You can't be Captain L'America when it's great, but then point the finger at everyone else when it's not great. If you're Captain America, then you have to win them all. Simple as that. Now, I'm interested to see when it comes to tomorrow. I expect Team USA to win. As you mentioned, I think 10 to 12 points is pretty fair. As I started to show, Vegas right now got the line at 15.5 points. I think that's a little high because you got to account for this is going to be a very biased crowd tomorrow. This is Paris playing in front of their home crowd for a gold medal. So and as the underdog, there's going to be that underdog factor where people are going to just root and cheer for France to try to be the underdog story to win at home. But with all that being said, LeBron got to be the leader that we expect him to be and win this game.
You got to start fast. You got to assert your dominance early and don't give them any hope. Because, like you said, it's pretty much a home game for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have the crowd. They're gonna have the home whistle. So you gotta separate yourself early, and then so you have that cushion to work with for the rest of the game because you know it's gonna be some bullshit calls. So you gotta come out firing on all cylinders and attacking, attack. Don't settle for jumpers because with the whole 5-team fouls and then you shooting 2. Use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
Attack. They not as athletic as us. Take the ball to the rim. Do not settle for threes. I mean, if 3 is collapsing on a drive and then you got Steph in the corner or Booker on the elbow or whatever, kick it out, of course. But attack, I think needs to be the game plan against France. And then, because that's what do you do against shot blockers? You don't go away from them. You go right at them. Go right at their chest.
Yep, you go right at them.
And that's their strength. So attack. I
agree. And I expect to see if Rudy's on the floor, a lot of pick and roll with Rudy. So I expect Wemby, I expect him to be very physical with Wemby. Wemby's still very young. He's frail. You got to be physical with him. Kyrie said, I got this current USA team 3rd in my best teams ever. And he's talking Olympic teams, obviously. He got the Dream Team, he got the Redeem Team, then this team, but I could be 96 ahead of this team. 96 was a very good team.
That was the Shaq team, right?
Yeah. I'll say this. If this team wins gold tomorrow, this is the 3rd best team. I think the Dream Team and the Redeem Team are always going to be 1 and 2. This team, from a talent standpoint, and the fact that we got Braun, KD, Curry with Embiid, would be. I mean, think about it. Embiid is the MVP from 2 seasons ago, and Embiid is probably the 4th best player on this team. Like that. That's how talented this current Team USA edition is. So they got to win the gold tomorrow. If they win the gold tomorrow, yeah, 3rd best. If they don't win the gold tomorrow, there's no way you can rank them as top 5 because you got to win gold to be ranked. In my opinion, you got to win gold to be ranked.
We disrespect that 84 team.
Well, but 84 was still college.
But there was some ballers on that team, though.
Yeah, there was some good players, but are we really gonna say that?
And they got gold, right?
Yeah, but do you think the 84 team could hang with, let's say, the Dream Team or the Redeem Team or even 96?
Not at the age they was at.
But that's what we got
because they were college players. But I'm saying as far as what they meant, that team was vicious.
I agree, but what I'm saying is, if we're ranking them, I think we could say the 84 team was a special team, but I don't see how you could rank them against 12 pros at their peak, like the Dream Team or the Redeem Team, even 96. Because I mean, even the Redeem Team, you look at the depth on the Redeem Team, it's like, yo, that was a really good team with a lot of pros on it. How do you compare 84 to that?
All right.
Just my thoughts.
I'm just saying that team was talented as hell.
That's the team that Bob Knight coached.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Again, as always, guys, make sure you are subscribed to the Sanchez Show. We are back to Friday Night Lives every Friday. As you know, we pick every football game. We get into whatever questions and comments you guys have. So make sure you're locked in with us. We back at it. Let's see what else we got here. We're gonna stay basketball for a little bit. I'm gonna get to Pooh's other statement she had here. And I see your statements as well. I'm gonna get to that as well. Pooh, I'm gonna get to that other one too, but I'm gonna get to this one first that you mentioned. You referenced your dad in. Are they trying to break the Celtics up? And she's referencing this whole Jason Tatum, Steve Kerr situation. She said, "My dad thinks so." Will, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go because I think that Celtics shit has something to do with the Olympics too.
In what way? Let me know.
You know how I feel about Boston, right? It's well documented. Not Jason Tatum. My man that got left off the team.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown. He is a modern day militant, especially as far as what the NBA considers. He makes them very, very, very uncomfortable. He's the reason. I mean, his caring about the community, I think, is the reason why he's not on this Olympic team. You can tell me Derek White all day for defense, but I think Jaylen Brown is a better defender than him, and he can give you buckets too. So it makes no sense to me. I think what they're trying to do with the Celtics is, all right, Mr. Unpopular Opinion. So you got Tatum and you got Brown. It feels like a school day situation. Remember school days?
Mm-hmm.
When they were trying to put the light skins against the dark skin. Yep. Remember that?
Yep.
They portray Tatum to be soft, and I mentioned this weeks ago. And they portray Jaylen Brown to be too hard for their comfort. I think this is Boston just being Boston as a city and as a community, and now it's bleeding into the basketball world because of social media and because guys are so outspoken now to where these organizations are no longer comfortable because they can't control their players and what they say and what they feel and what they express. I feel like they'd rather blow it up and build it in their own image than continue the way that it's going right now.
So first, I'll say, Pooh, if you're still tuning into the live, let me know. When you say, are they trying to break the Celtics up? I want to know who you're referencing when you say they. Are you talking about the league? Are you talking about Steve Kerr as like an opposing coach? Because Team USA does have Spoelstra and Ty Lue on the bench. So when you say they, are you meaning those coaches hoping to create a rift between the Celtics, which would ultimately break them up? But this is my counter to all that, right? For decades, we have had this argument within sports about who is the alpha dog. This did not just start with Boston. Anytime a team has two good young players, we as sports fans and those within the media, I don't consider us within the media, Will, because I feel like we talk sports at a different level and we talk sports from a real raw perspective as opposed to a politically correct perspective.
Right.
But we as fans, those in the media, always debate who's the alpha. When Shaq and Penny played together, what did we do as fans? We debated whose team it was. When Shaq and Kobe played together, what did we do? We debated whose team it was, right? When KD and Russell Westbrook played together, what did we do? Debate whose team it was. We're doing the same thing now because we view Tatum and Brown as elite players. Like, ain't nobody is having no argument about whose team was it between Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, because ain't nobody care. Those aren't elite level guys, right? But when you are an elite level all NBA caliber player, the way Brown and Tatum are, this is the type of debate you're going to have, because we feel as people that there's always got to be one alpha. That is the Michael Jordan effect, because Michael Jordan turned it into what always became the debate. I need my Pippen to my Jordan, right? If one guy is so great, we need to find his running mate. We need to find a Robin to that Batman. That's all that's happening in Boston. And let's not pretend like this just started this year. This debate between Brown and Tatum, and if they could win together and play together, has been happening now for at least 5 years. People have questioned, can they win together? So when people say, are they trying to break up the Celtics? Again, I ask, who is they? Because we as fans have been talking about this team even before they won a championship. Even before the Celtics were able to even get to a finals, we were wondering if these two guys could win together, because that's the climate and that's the way we analyze basketball. It's always going to be a Batman and Robin. It's always going to be a Jordan to a Pippen. Even LeBron's whole career was always centered around, can they find him a Pippen? When he went to Miami, people debated, is it his team? Is it Wade's team? This is what we do. I don't think anyone is trying to intentionally break up the Celtics. Again, I think this is a lot to do with narratives that are created by those of us who love the game and are trying to figure out whose team is it. Because we want it to be so apparent that it's one guy's team, we create these debates of, well, then is that guy his Robin? Can they win with those two guys? And if they can't win with those two guys, do they need to get rid of one of those guys to move on to the next guy? Now that the Celtics have won, people have now turned it into, well, they're trying to break up the Celtics. I don't think anyone's trying to break up the Celtics, because I don't think anyone is scared of the Celtics. This isn't a dominant team. They are a very good team. Right now, they are the best team in the Eastern Conference. They're the best team in the NBA. They're coming off a championship. But realistically, can anybody guarantee me and tell me, yo, without a doubt, the way we do the 401k pick of the week every week, right, Will, during football season?
Right.
Can we find somebody who would say 401k pick of the season, take the Celtics because they're winning it all again next year?
Hell no.
All right. So what?
They faced the perfect storm this past year with all the injuries and whatnot that they faced.
Right.
With the opposition losing their best players.
Right.
They were just the most opportunists in NBA history.
Right. But the East is still very tough. We've seen the moves that Philly made. We've seen the moves that the Knicks made. Right. Pat Riley just ain't gonna sit around. Pat gonna try to find a way to get in the mix as well. So
hey, I heard, speaking of, you heard it here first. Well, maybe if you didn't. But if there's a high possibility you heard it here first. I'm hearing that by 2025, you might see Ant-Man in Miami.
I got to double check his contract, because he got the new deal already, didn't he?
I'm not sure that. It's more of a back channel management situation.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Giannis in Miami after next season, because I think Milwaukee, that window is closing quickly, and Giannis will revisit some of the teams that were interested in him before he re-signed his deal. Ant-Man, I think that's a little tougher, because I think Minnesota is going to do everything in their power to keep him. And as long as they're competitive, if they're as competitive as they were this past season, I think it'll be tough for him to leave Minnesota for a situation that isn't as stable as what they have now. But you could be right, and we'll save the clip if you're right going into 2025. But I just think this thinking of like, if you feel they're trying to break up Boston, my question would be why? They're not a juggernaut. They're not a powerhouse in the NBA. This was a team that for years, again, we debated whether Brown and Tatum could even play together. This didn't just start this season. This started 4 or 5 years ago when people questioned if they could win together. When they lost in the finals 2 seasons ago, people wondered, can you win with these two guys?
But you just said they're not a juggernaut, right?
Right.
That's why.
But to me, I could understand trying to break it up if you are a juggernaut. Like, it made sense when people were picking sides between Kobe and Shaq. Because if you're the rest of the league, we ain't never going to beat Kobe and Shaq. You telling me the best big man, the most dominant big man the league has seen in 30 plus years, and the rising star at the guard position, the best guard at that time, are playing together under one of the greatest head coaches of all time? Who gonna beat the Lakers?
Yeah. Well, I don't
The
think
only
these two
reason
cats.
and,
I
and,
don't
and
think.
forget, go ahead, Will, go ahead.
I don't think they like each other. And with the way these new dudes is, where before you could, I ain't give a damn if you like me or not. We got a job to do. That used to be the mentality. Now everybody want to be best friends and doing TikTok videos and shit together and whatnot.
Right.
So with them not being best for buds, I can see that. I can see this getting blown up. I just can't.
And that's fine. But if they're not best buds, that's not everyone else creating that narrative. If y'all don't get along, that's y'all don't get along.
But that's enough when you got two dudes making supermax contracts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Something's got to give.
And I understand that, right? Because we are dealing with the human element of you just may not click with that person. Just because y'all both supremely talented, y'all may not click. Y'all may not be each other's cup of tea, you know, whatever the case may be. But that doesn't mean everyone else is driving a wedge between you guys. That's you guys not getting along. Shaq and Kobe didn't get along. Nobody had to make them enemies. They didn't get along because their personalities were so different. Pooh, I got you right here. You said the powers that be, I guess, and that was in reference to my question of who's they. You said, check it. Boston won the title. Brown was the MVP of the finals and the conference finals, and it was well deserved. I don't think. I know for me, maybe Will might feel different. I think Jaylen Brown deserved the MVP of both those. Jaylen Brown was the difference maker in the finals. He set the tone against the Dallas Mavs, right? So again, we're not creating a narrative. Jaylen Brown was deserving of both those. Then Tatum makes Team USA. Let's keep in mind though, Pooh, Tatum was already on Team USA before this season. Tatum was on Team USA when they qualified 2 years ago. Holiday was on the previous Olympic team because remember when Holiday won with the Milwaukee Bucks, what did they do 2 days? The same night after they won a championship, him and Middleton was on a plane going to play for Team USA. So Holiday been on the roster. White is the one that I agree with everyone. White was the most questionable one because that's the one that made it look like, why would White get the spot over Jaylen Brown? White is the one that I agree with. That's the one that makes people wonder, all right, was there something
because
going on
Nike
here? But yes, to your point, Will, Jaylen Brown makes people uncomfortable. Jaylen Brown is making the powers that be uncomfortable. So that's why Derek White got it over Jaylen Brown. That's the only one of this debate that I can say that's the one that looks the fishiest. That's like, all right, that just didn't make any sense. Because if you're telling me we're sending the best 12 players that we have to offer, there's no way that Derek White is one of the best 12 guys.
And then you had a game where you had Derek White clock 15 minutes and Jaylen,
Tatum not playing.
Jason Tatum played 0 minutes. So what are we like? What's really going on, man?
All right, but let's be real, right? Though, Will, right? You and I are, we're good friends.
Yeah.
If we hoop together, and let's say we're on an AAU team, we're not even on our high school team. We're on an AAU circuit. We playing in the summertime. We run the tournaments. Coach plays you. He don't play me. My beef is with the coach, not with you.
Right.
So that's why I don't understand that part of it too. Where people say, "Oh, it's driving. It's like it's causing drama between them." Why would Tatum be mad at Derek White? Derek White ain't picking the minutes. And again, this isn't even their head coach. I could understand if this was Joe Mazzulla who was doing it, and then you were like, "Damn, why would your coach not play you?" But this ain't even our head coach. This is like being on the AAU circuit and somebody else is controlling the minutes. If Jason Tatum is mad at Derek White because he's playing more, that's some true bitch shit. Because Derek White it's a fact. Because Derek White does not control the minutes. How you mad at White and Holiday because Steve Kerr playing them? One, that's not even y'all head coach. Two, they don't control the minutes.
3, Derek White shouldn't even be there though.
He shouldn't be there. But we had this conversation before, right? Like, if we're gonna say, all right, Jaylen Brown should have been, I agree. But Jaylen Brown ain't the only guy that Derek White took a spot from, because Jalen Brunson was more deserving than Derek White. And Jalen Brunson ain't there. It wasn't just Jaylen Brown that got shitted on. There was other guys who are better than Derek White. We know that. John Morant should be there over Derek White. So we making it only about Jaylen Brown as if he's the only guy who got snubbed. There's other guys that we can point to, but like, who's way better than Derek White.
Yeah. Well, we know why Ja didn't get picked.
Well, of course, Zion then.
Yeah.
We could go down the list of plenty of guys who are better than Derek White who should have got the spot.
You ain't gotta go no further than Jaylen Brown.
That's fine. I'm just saying that we're making it about, again, we are making it about Jaylen Brown and the Celtics. I don't think, again, they are not a juggernaut. I don't think everybody else is looking at them like, oh man, like, because realistically, what is this going to do? So if this is creating a drama between the Celtics, why wouldn't this make the Celtics band together even more?
Did Paul George want to play?
Probably. I mean, listen.
I put him in there.
Paul George, Paolo Banchero down in Orlando was more deserving than Derek White.
And they both play defense. So that's what I'm saying. They try to point to Derek White talking about his defense.
It wasn't about that. I
think
it's
a lot of guys who play defense.
Right. It's a lot of guys who play defense. And I think deep down, they didn't want to bring another star player into the mix because they already knew that it was going to be tough to get minutes for guys. I just, that's what I think. I think they didn't want, because when they had Kawhi, realistically, if Kawhi is healthy, one of the biggest ifs in sports over the last 5 years, but if Kawhi is healthy and you got Kawhi, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James on the team, who is Jason Tatum playing over?
None of them. Right.
So they already was going to have a minutes issue even before Derek White got on the team.
But you got to play him at the true 2.
Okay, so at the 2, you could definitely say he plays over Ant-Man because he's more experienced than Ant. Is he playing over Booker? Is he playing over Curry?
No, because they need the shooting.
So we still in the same dilemma. Now we're trying to find minutes for the guy, and then you still can't overlook the fact of matchups, because I just can't have 5 great offense players on the floor. I need some defense. That's where Holiday comes in. That's where Bam comes in. I need these athletic defenders who can switch off, because if I'm just out there with 5 scorers, you know what every other international team is going to do. They're going to put us in pick and roll all day and force guys to guard in space that ain't great, or don't want to do that, I should say.
That's where if you took Jaylen Brown, you got offense and defense in the same player.
You could have, but again, it becomes tough in a perfect world where everyone is healthy. He's not playing over Kawhi. He's not playing over Braun. He's not playing over KD. So that already diminishes your minutes. Remember, the international game, you go from playing a 48-minute game in the NBA to a 40-minute game internationally. That's 8 minutes of playing time that's already been eliminated. Add to the fact that I still got to find a way to manage these lineups and get all these guys on the floor. I'm not saying that Tatum doesn't deserve to play. So I don't want nobody to interpret, oh, well, you saying Tatum shouldn't play. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it was already going to be tough finding minutes for Tatum or Brown if you had the roster that you wanted from the jump. If Kawhi was on his team, you probably don't have enough minutes for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. You're seeing it now. They don't have enough minutes.
But the thing is, he's not on the team.
All right, but even with Tatum, you're still struggling to find the minutes. Kerr is struggling to find the minutes. Where can I put Tatum in? Because he's going, and this is why I think there is something going on behind the scenes. Kerr is going with the guys that he feels is giving him the effort. Because I don't think Anthony Edwards offensively played well yesterday. Ant-Man didn't give him nothing offensively, but he played him. So maybe he felt like his defensive effort is where I needed to be for what we're trying to accomplish. It's very possible, as I said earlier in the show, If Tatum plays 20 minutes tomorrow, are we still going to be mad at Steve Kerr? Let's say if Tatum plays 20 minutes tomorrow, but Derek White and Anthony Edwards maybe only play 5 minutes each, are we going to be still mad at Steve Kerr? Are we going to say, all right, Kerr played the matchup and he felt Tatum gave him the better matchup in the gold medal game?
It's going to come down to results.
So if Tatum plays, let's say Tatum plays 20 minutes tomorrow, but only scores 6 points and has 4 rebounds. Are we still mad at Kerr?
Yeah.
So we still mad at Kerr?
Because Ant could have gave you that.
It's my point. Like we're creating this narrative based off of how we feel today, but it's very possible Tatum plays tomorrow in the gold medal game, and Tatum he's probably not gonna set the world on fire because we know who the offense going through. It's going through KD, it's going through Steph, it's going through Braun, it's going through Embiid. Them 4 dudes is who the offense is going through. And Tyson, shout out Tyson. The game is tomorrow at 3:00.
3:30.
3:30. But I think this is, again, drama that's created about nothing. We're looking for reasons to be mad. The goal is for Team USA to win a gold medal. Is not to make sure every player gets playing time. This is not Little League baseball. Everybody don't have to play. Go win a gold medal. That's the most important thing. My question for all the followers and everybody tuned in, would y'all be happy if Kerr played everybody, but this team was playing in a bronze medal game tomorrow?
No.
So then why the fuck are we worried about that Tatum ain't played?
I'm not worried about that. I'm more concerned that Jaylen Brown didn't make the team. I don't care about the minutes. I'm talking about who deserved to be there, who didn't deserve to be there.
And I agree, but where we're at is where we're at. It's where we're at this point is where we're at. There's a lot of guys. I could be a homer and say, oh, Jalen Brunson's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson don't deserve to be there over Derek White?
Not over Jaylen Brown.
I didn't say over Jaylen Brown. I'm saying over Derek White. Because
oh yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, and somebody in the comment section correct me as well. Jaylen Brown didn't play on the qualifying team. Jalen Brunson did though.
But see, that's where you gotta change. It's a different position too.
How? Derek White is a guard. Jalen Brunson's a guard.
Derek White's not a point guard.
Neither is Jaylen Brown.
Exactly.
So who's the point guard? Hold on. So
Brunson's the point guard on
this team? Who's the point guard on this team?
No, I'm saying if you're going to swap out Jalen Brunson, you swapping out a point for off guard.
They got enough off guards. You got Booker, you got Steph, you got Ant-Man, you got Holiday.
I'm just saying it ain't apples for apples.
All I'm saying is you could make the argument about plenty of guys who are not on this team. I agree Jaylen Brown is deserving of being on the team. I've never questioned should Jaylen Brown be on the team. My whole point is we're focusing only on Jaylen Brown as if he's the only guy who was snubbed off this team. You could make the strong case that
he's just the biggest. He's the biggest.
All right, so then the next, so if that's the case, we can keep going down the line and be like, well, Halliburton shouldn't be there over Jalen Brunson either.
Yep, you can say that.
We could do that all day, but like I said, we're arguing a moot point. The point is right now the team is on the verge of winning a gold medal, and we're trying. This is what we started the show with talking about, Will, that the media is creating these narratives because there's nothing else to talk about. We really on the verge of winning another gold medal. And people, not you and I, but people are more concerned, well, Jaylen Brown should be there. Well, they driving a wedge between the Celtics. Well, why Tatum ain't playing? What? None of that shit matters if Team USA wins a gold. Do we remember everyone who played on the last gold medal team?
No.
Why not?
But listen, I bet the last gold medal team, if they had the opportunity to select the conference finals MVP, the finals MVP, all NBA player and just signed a max deal last year, that player will probably be on the team.
I agree with you, by the way. The only rebuttal I would have to that, to play devil's advocate, is when the team is formed, a lot of times that's before the conference finals and the NBA finals. Because keep in mind,
but then you went and added Derek White.
Well, yes, but Derek White, no,
See,
and
so that kills that. That kills that.
No.
Right,
but hold on, hear me out. Derek White obviously was not an original selection. He's an injury replacement for Kawhi. And I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend to know why Derek White was the selection. Because even when it was first rumored, Kawhi might not play, I didn't understand why Derek White was the selection. But my rebuttal is purely to your statement of any team would want the conference MVP and the finals MVP. I agree they would want that. The only difference is in this scenario, those awards are normally given out after Team USA has already selected their team.
But in this case,
so
they had their backs against the wall and they still chose Derek White
and
over him.
And listen, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm just playing devil's advocate for the sake of this debate. If Kawhi doesn't drop out, would we still feel that Jaylen Brown should have made the team?
No.
Why not? He's the conference finals MVP.
Because Kawhi is a 2-time champion. Kawhi's earned his spot. He's not Derek White. If Kawhi takes that spot over Jaylen Brown, well, Kawhi's more decorated. Kawhi's been there, done that. Kawhi earned that spot. Derek White, not so much.
I agree. I'm not debating Derek White over Jaylen Brown because I think we all made it clear we know Jaylen Brown should be there. My only debate is just that I feel like too much energy is put into it. So that's why I'm going to stop this part of that convo. We're going to get to some football talk because I feel like we're making it more about Derek White opposed to Jaylen Brown instead of Team USA on the verge of winning another gold medal. That's the way I'm looking at it at this point. I think it's just too much on that. Let's get to some football, Will, because it's right around the corner.
Yes, sir.
We're going to start with Kyrie's comment right here. Next question. How much will Josh Allen miss Stephon Diggs? I'm going to let you go first.
A lot. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs' relationship kind of told me a lot. More so about Josh Allen than it did about Stephon. I've been following Stephon Diggs since he was in high school. And
he's a Maryland guy.
Yeah, exactly. Was a Terp, watched him get drafted and has followed his career. He's what a wide receiver in the NFL, like a top upper echelon wide receiver is supposed to be. Boisterous, outspoken, give me the damn ball. Like he's a classic quote unquote diva wide receiver. But those diva wide receivers are the ones that have busts and can the ones that go to Super Bowls. I feel like once he got to Buffalo, it was sweet at first, and then once he got his bearings in Buffalo and got comfortable and started speaking his mind, I don't think Josh Allen really handled it that well. I don't think it was something he was used to. I think it was a clash of communication, we'll say, where Stephon probably communicates on one type of level as to where Josh Allen communicates on a different one. And I don't really think at the end of the day that it meshed very well. I think he's going to miss Stephon, especially on third down. He was like that Keenan Allen type that throwing third and whatever, just throwing in their vicinity and they're going to make a play. Stephon also has the ability to hit the home run still. I think you're going to see that benefit CJ Stroud a great deal this season with him going over to Houston. I think he's going to miss. I think he's going to miss my guy a great deal.
I think he's going to miss him. I think it was poorly handled by Josh Allen yesterday when someone asked him, about missing him, and he said, "I don't know if I would say I'd miss him." From what we saw early on, it looked like they had a great relationship, and we can't deny the fact that Stephon Diggs helped elevate Josh Allen's career. We know what Josh Allen looked like before Stephon Diggs got there, and we know what he looked like with Stephon Diggs. So Stephon Diggs deserved a little bit more respect from Josh Allen in that moment. In terms of missing him on the field, I think Stephon Diggs is still a great talent, but I think that things in Buffalo went sour to your point of being a diva receiver. If you look at his last 8 games with Buffalo, his production was way down. He was not producing towards the end. And I don't know if that was just so much the scheme. He seemed to just be having trouble beating some press coverages. And we had even talked about it during the Friday Night Lives during the season, because at one point down the stretch, I think in the last 7 games of the season, he was only averaging about 40 yards receiving. So he was not producing at the level that we expected him to produce. And like I said, I don't know if that was just him like being so frustrated with the scheme that he just was struggling, or maybe the scheme had changed, because we know with James Cook, the running back, they were kind of changing what they were doing. They did change their offensive coordinator in the middle of the season. They had gone a little bit more run heavy late in the season, but it just seems like Diggs was not producing at the level we expected. And there's that big play in the Kansas City game where Diggs dropped a pass on what could have been the game-winning drive. And I don't know if that was like the final nail in the coffin when Buffalo felt like, yeah, it's just time to part ways. But just those last 7 games and into the playoffs, Stephon Diggs was not producing the way we had expected him to. And I think Josh Allen will be okay without Stephon Diggs. But 2 things could be true here, because I think Stephon Diggs is going to be really good in Houston with the weapons they have there, and him going in as the veteran presence with another young quarterback. This is going to be one of the situations where both players will be okay. Stephon Diggs is playing for a good team that has high aspirations to make a deep playoff run. And I think Josh Allen will show people that he is a better quarterback than what some people have given him credit for. It just won't be without Stephon. It'll be without Stephon Diggs. He'll miss him at times, and I agree with you, especially early in the season, 3rd down, he's going to miss Stephon Diggs. But as the season goes on, I think he'll get comfortable and they'll get some things going. He'll be okay. I think Josh Allen will be okay. I think it's just a change of scenery for both of them is what they needed here. And this kind of reminds me of when Cam Newton was young and Carolina got rid of Steve Smith. And we knew Steve Smith still was good. And Steve Smith went on and he went to Baltimore and he had a productive season in Baltimore. But then Cam Newton went on to win the MVP like the year after that. I'm not saying Josh Allen's going to win MVP, but I just think they both will benefit from being away from each other. Josh Allen needed the opportunity to grow into the quarterback that they expect him to be. Stephon Diggs needs to go to a situation I think that's going to appreciate and respect what he brings to the game a little bit more than what Buffalo had become accustomed to. And ultimately, they both will be better from this. Stephon Diggs is betting on himself as well, because this turned into a 1-year deal after the trade. With this trade now, he can revisit free agency after this upcoming season. So he's going to be motivated to have a big season and be motivated to prove people wrong, similar to when he left Minnesota. Because when he left Minnesota, a lot of people wondered if he could reinvent himself, if he was the problem in Minnesota with Kirk Cousins, or if Kirk Cousins was the issue. And he went on to Buffalo and he proved people wrong. And I think it's going to be the same thing in Houston. It's going to be a fresh start for Stephon Diggs. He's going to get the opportunity to prove people wrong, and he's going to get the opportunity to show that he's still one of the best receivers in the league. So both things I think could be true here. Josh Allen will be okay. Stephon Diggs will be okay. Ultimately, whatever team has the better success, that'll be the player who has the last laugh there, Will. That's how I view it. Let's get to some of our divisional picks, though. We're going to talk about really quickly the AFC.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Buffalo got to deal with the rest of that division.
The division is tough.
If Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, they gonna be an issue,
Oh yeah,
and
division gonna
the
be tough.
Jets gonna be an issue. If Tua keeps his head on straight, Miami's gonna be an issue. Like let's not sleep on the rest of that division.
No, I'm not at all.
I think the Bills kind of messed up and closed that window with letting Diggs go, but we'll see.
As long as you have a high level quarterback, I think your window's open. So, not to say you can't, not to say you won't miss Diggs, but you can replace Diggs. Let's keep in mind if you're
But
Buffalo, right? If hold on, if you're looking back, I just want to retroactively look back. Who do you think won that trade, Buffalo or Minnesota?
what was the trade?
It was a draft pick that led to Justin Jefferson.
Uh, Minnesota won it
Right.
because Diggs is no longer in Buffalo.
No, Minnesota won it because you can find young talent, especially at the receiver position in the draft.
But you
That's
got
why they won it.
Pam.
Yeah, but you don't have to pay him until year 4. See, when they got Diggs, they had to pay Diggs right away. And again,
Didn't
not to
they
say
pay JJ? Didn't JJ just get
he,
paid?
he just got paid now. Remember, that trade was made 4 years ago, though. Justin
Hmm.
Jefferson has had the most productive start to a career that any receiver has ever had.
Okay.
So if you're Buffalo, I think they're banking on, hey, we can, and I think every team, because your Chargers are in the same situation, right? They let go of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen with the thinking
Yeah.
you could find really good young talent in the draft and pay a fraction of what you pay the Devontae Adams, the Stephon Diggs of the world, the Tyreek Hills. So that's why I use that analogy. Not to say Diggs was bad at Buffalo. He was good in Buffalo. But if they could do it again, I think they would rather have the draft pick, take Justin Jefferson, and pay him on a rookie scale for 4 years, as opposed to paying Diggs what they paid him, because they could have filled up. The Diggs trade hurt them in more ways than one. Because if you look at their secondary this year, they've had to cut guys because of where their cap situation was now.
True.
So I think both teams will be okay, but you're right. Buffalo's gonna have to be careful. That division is better. Let's go through this AFC North real quick. Give me your thoughts. How do you have it playing out? Who's winning the division and why?
Arguably the toughest division in football.
That's why I wanted to start with this division.
Uh, and this is my area. You know, I'm within 150 miles of every team in this division, which is crazy. Like the central point. I'm the heartbeat of this division. So I look at, you got the Ravens, you got the Steelers, you got the Browns, you got the Bengals. All have their strong points and all have their question marks. I'm gonna actually start at the bottom and go work my way up. I think at this point today, you have to rank the Steelers as the bottom team in the division. Defense is very solid, very, very solid, very well coached team. Mike Tomlin never had a losing record. He's been coaching for I think my research team told me 379 years now.
It's not the
He's been
research
head
team.
coach.
The research team, they deep dived.
Yeah, but he's been coaching a long time. Never lost it. Never had a losing season. I just think the the question marks I have at quarterback position for them, because I really don't know what they're wanting to do, if they're trying to insert Russell to start and then see what they have in Justin Fields later down the road. But this isn't the division where you can be experimenting. You know what I mean? You need to pick which way you want to go, and I don't think they have that solidified yet. Then I look at the Bengals. talented roster up and down. A little bit of change on the offensive side of the ball at running back, and they did make some adjustments on the offensive line. They brought some guys in. They lose Joe Mixon, bring in Zach Moss. We'll see. We'll see how that shakes out. But it all comes down to Joe Burrow with this team, if he's going to be healthy or not. Then at the top of the division, you got the Browns and you got the Ravens. I have more faith in the Ravens. You've got a MVP at quarterback in Lamar Jackson, who's finally got a running back. He's never really had a threat at running back. His best running back was what? Mark Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's got that man child Derrick Henry at running back to take a lot of pressure off of his legs. Pause. And I want to see the development of Zach Moss at receiver. Mark Andrews is always solid at tight end, and that defense is always flying around the ball. But then you go across a couple states and go over to Cleveland, and they're like a rough, scruff, old school type built football team. They've got guys at every skill position. They've got workhorses at running back, and ironically, the biggest question mark for that team to me is their quarter billion dollar quarterback in Deshaun Watson. Like, we haven't seen the Deshaun Watson that they traded for and that they gave a $250 million fully guaranteed contract to. They've got a lot of guys on that football team that can make plays. Highlighted by Myles Garrett, probably the best defensive lineman in the league. If he's not the best, he's top 2 or 3. That defense flies around the ball, pause, and they can make some noise. But I'm gonna go with, in that division, I'm going with Baltimore. I'm going with Lamar Jackson being an MVP level quarterback again. I'm going with Derrick Henry taking a lot of pressure off of the offense with his ability to run. And I'm liking the development of the defense, the defensive side of the ball. I got Baltimore coming out of that division.
So you got Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Okay. That's fair. We agree in one area. I got Pittsburgh as the last place team in this division. And that's not to disrespect Mike Tomlin or what they do. I just think that in terms of matching up with the rest of the division, there's a lot of uncertainty at that quarterback position. I just don't like what I see there at the running back position from them as well. So for me, I think they're the weakest team. And that's not a knock against them, because if they were in any other division, Pittsburgh's probably a playoff team. But in this particular division, they just don't match up well, I think, talent-wise. I got Cleveland as a third place team, and here's why. I still haven't seen anything from Deshaun Watson since he's been there to make me think that this is going to work. Also, Nick Chubb is coming off that bad injury last year. I don't know if he's going to be ready week 1 in terms of like be himself week 1. So I think they struggle early in the season. Last year, they caught a lot of luck with Joe Flacco playing as well as he did. If Joe Flacco doesn't play that well, they miss the playoffs entirely, and we're probably not even considering Cleveland as a playoff team. But because Joe Flacco played well, we assume that that's going to carry over to Deshaun Watson. I haven't seen it from Deshaun yet, so I don't believe in it yet. Then it comes down to me, two of the best, not only two best teams in this division, two of the best teams in all of football, Cincinnati and Baltimore. And I love what Baltimore did adding Derrick Henry. I agree with you with Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, the kid, likely the other tight end they got over there. They got some good weapons. They got a good defense still. My main concern with them is, and it's not even with them, it's more so why I think Cincinnati wins the division. Cincinnati has a very easy schedule. Cincinnati, because of the injuries last year, finished in 4th place. So in terms of strength of schedule, Cincinnati has the 27th toughest schedule, or to flip that, they had like the 5th easiest schedule, whereas Baltimore's got to play the 4th toughest schedule. So I think Cincinnati's going to get fat on some games early in the season where Baltimore's going to have to grind it out very early. That's why I think Cincinnati wins this division. I think Cincinnati is a Super Bowl caliber team. Now, Joe Burrow got to be healthy. We know that. Joe Mixon not being there is changes things for them, but I think Zach Moss will be good because Zach Moss was good with the Colts last year, and he gives them a physicality aspect that I don't think they had with Joe Mixon last year. So I like Cleveland to win the. I like Cincinnati to win the division. I like Baltimore to be the second place team and make the playoffs. I got Cleveland as the third place team, and I got Pittsburgh as the fourth place team. Cincinnati's going to be a team that, as we talk about regular season predictions, I'm going to talk a little bit more about because I really think Cincinnati can compete for a Super Bowl this year.
Super Bowl?
Cincinnati Bengals, yep.
Wow.
They're honestly, they're the only team I've seen really go toe-to-toe with Kansas City the last few years. And if they're healthy, and again, all these predictions are based on health. If they're healthy, Joe Burrow is the one quarterback we've seen that can stand toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes and beat Patrick Mahomes. He's done it several times. We know he can do it.
All right.
That's what I'm going
pretty
with.
bold. That's pretty bold.
We're going to get more into Cincinnati later on in some of our preseason predictions. Let's go to the NFC North. I'll start this one off. Minnesota is the last place team. If Sam Darnold is your quarterback, you're not competing for anything but a high draft pick. We know that. Yes, they got Justin Jefferson. Yes, they got Jordan Addison. They got those two good receivers. They got TJ Hawkinson at tight end, so they got some weapons there, but they still don't have the running game figured out. The O-line is still a little shaky. I really don't like much they got on defense either. And when you add in, again, as I mentioned, Sam Darnold as your quarterback, I just don't like that situation. They're a last place team to me. Third place, I think this team could be a little sneaky because their strength of schedule is really weak. It's the third easiest schedule you're going to find. They got some weapons, but they do got a rookie quarterback, and I don't want to put too much on the value of a strength of schedule when you got a rookie quarterback who might go through some growing pains early. I got the Bears as a third place team, but I think the Bears are going to be really good in the second half of the season once Caleb Williams figures things out and he gets more acclimated. But they got a lot of weapons. They drafted the young receiver out of Washington. They got Keenan Allen over there. They got DJ Moore. So they got some weapons. They got some pieces. That O-line still isn't good, though. And that secondary, I really like the Bears secondary. Pay attention to the Bears secondary this year because when they got healthy in the second half of last year, they were flying around. They were causing a lot of turnovers. So I got the Bears as a third place team. My team from last year that was a sleeper. They won the division. They made it to the NFC Championship game. I think this year, now that they got to play with expectations, they're going to take a step down. They're still going to be a good team, and they're going to be a playoff team. But I think in a regular season, they're going to see it's very difficult to play when you got that target on your back, and that's the Detroit Lions. I think the Lions come in second place in this division this year. A lot of weapons, but, again, you're playing with expectations, and you're not catching people off guard anymore. Now people look at you as an elite team, and they're going to play you as such. And then to me, the Packers, who were the hottest team to end last year, the Packers should have beat the 49ers in the playoffs. Jordan Love handled all the expectations last year in replacing Aaron Rodgers, and now he got the big bag. I think the Packers are going to be very, very good this year, and I got the Packers winning this division. So, Will, for me, I got the Packers winning the division. I got the Lions as the second place team and making the playoffs as well. I got the Bears as a third place team who could probably win 7 or 8 games, and then I got the Vikings as the last place team.
Interesting. The one thing we agree on is the Vikings being last place. That's it, though.
Oh, that's how it was in the AFC North as well.
Because I didn't go through like win-loss for each team to even see if it was possible. But I've got the Lions and the Bears tied for first place. Is like I said, I haven't gone through record by record to predict, wins and losses. But I see them as equals this year. I got Green Bay third, and I got the Vikings last. I think the Bears have the opportunity to take that division by storm because every year it's there for the taking.
Mm-hmm.
Every year. that one division is there for the taking. Nobody ever stands out and takes the reins. You know what I mean? And with the defense that the Bears already had, and then the offensive weapons they've been able to put together on the offensive side of the ball, and if Caleb Williams is half of what we think he could be, or well, it depends on what you think he can be. You've got a rookie quarterback who's the first overall pick and a Heisman Trophy winner going into an offensive system where he's got last year it was some crazy stat like there were two receivers in the top 10 that have an average catch to tackle radius of 9 yards or more, and he has two of them, and Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, who they just gave the bag to.
Mm-hmm.
They draft Ramondre Stevens. What's his name? Ramondre?
No, they draft Rome Odunze from
Rome Odunze, yeah.
Yeah.
Rome Odunze, who has been showing promise in camp. I mean, it's just camp, but then at tight end they've got
they got Cole Kmet.
And then they just picked up a second tight end from my Chargers, Gerald Everett, who's a pass catching tight end. And then who they pick up at running back?
They did make a move at running back. Hold on, I'm gonna look back at it. They got a lot of weapons though.
But they are loaded. All he has to do is throw to the open spots. I think the Bears are gonna make a leap, and they're gonna make a big leap this year.
So it's possible they get off to a really fast start because their first couple games they got some winnable games to start the season. I'm looking at their schedule. They start against the Titans. They should beat the Titans. They got to go to the Texans and they got to go to the Colts in week 2.
Week 2. That's a Monday night game, right? Week 2.
That's a Sunday night game.
Sunday night, okay. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be vicious. That's gonna be CJ versus.
I mean, like I said, and their first 5 games of the year, they got the Titans, they get the Texans, they get the Colts, then they come home to play the Rams and the Panthers. It's very possible they have 3, maybe even 4 wins to start the season right out the gate. So if they get off to a hot start, it's there for them. I think where it gets tricky for them is late in the season because they get their 2 games with the Lions are late. Those don't come until November. They got the 49ers late. They got the Packers late. Obviously, both games against the Packers. So if they can get off to a hot start, it's very possible this team gets to 9, maybe even 10 wins. Because they get some very manageable games early, like I mentioned. You got Titans, Texans, Colts, Rams, Panthers. That should be 3-2, maybe even 4-1.
Yeah.
Right. Then after that, they get the Jaguars. That's a London game. That's always tricky. They get the Commanders. They get the Cardinals. They get the Patriots. They could beat all 3 of those teams. Commanders, Cardinals, Patriots. Those are winnable games for them. Now you're looking at them. If things go right, that's put you into November before your Packers game, where you might be sitting at 6 wins, maybe even 7 wins already. So if you get off to a good start and you're at 6-3, 6-4, then the possibility of winning 10 games is there. But the key is going to be early on. How quickly does Caleb Williams really raise their ceiling as a team? Because if he comes out and has some rookie moments early where he's turning the ball over and they lose some games that they're not supposed to lose, then that's where it leads to the back end where it's like, all right, we may only finish as a 7 or 8 win team because we got off to such a slow start. I agree with you. I think with the talent they have and with Caleb Williams, that's why I think in the second half of the season, you're gonna see them become a very exciting team once he gets his footing on it. Once he kind of adjusts to the NFL, I think they're going to be an exciting team because I can't remember a time where a rookie quarterback came in with this many weapons right away. Like I said,
It's never happened.
Yeah, with the
Like
amount of weapons.
I've combed through it. I've combed through it. Like it's never happened.
It's never happened that way. So that's why I say if he can get through that first month and a half of the season and they're good, at least at the very least respectable, like I said, 3-2, and we're in the mix. Oh yeah, they got a chance to make the playoffs. But he's got to get through that first half, that first month and a half.
Did you watch the first episode of Hard Knocks?
So I have not watched it yet. I'll probably watch it either later tonight or tomorrow.
Solid.
I'm sure it is because honestly, I love the way they structure Hard Knocks this year because we had the Giants off season. Which
I didn't watch the Giants one. I heard a lot about it though, but I watched the Bears one the other night.
I like the Giants one because that's
they the now time. Like they shooting it like they used to, like when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how they tried to change it up and tried to make it more like poppy? You know what I'm saying? But now it's right back to the roots.
Well, the reason I was going to say I like the way they're doing Hard Knocks now is now we're getting 3 versions of it. So we get the all-season version, which was the Giants, which purely focused on the general manager preparing for the draft and the Saquon negotiations. Then we get the Bears preseason, and then they got the in-season version, which I believe is the Lions this year. Because there's going to be another version of Hard Knocks in season.
Oh, okay.
So we get 3
versions.
No,
I think it's the Browns.
I'm gonna double check. Let me see what's the 3rd version. But I like that because that covers all the aspects of what football.
It might be the Lions. I thought it was the Browns.
It covers everything that football is about, I think.
Gotcha.
One more comment I'm gonna get to because it came from Pooh up here, and it was funny as shit.
Pooh, wait.
Yeah. Then we're gonna.
Hey, Pooh.
You late, bro. You were supposed to say that. You were supposed to say that an hour ago.
I know. I didn't know she was in. Hey,
yeah,
Pooh.
I told you. She made the statement earlier about the Jason Tatum stuff.
Oh damn! I missed it.
Hold on. I'm trying to see who they got here. But this is the comment from Pooh, and then I'm gonna let you start. This is how we're gonna end it off. Right. When I said who? No, I'm sorry. We got to that one. This one right here. She said, this is crazy. At work today, 2 guys were arguing, and the young dude said, because Jordan's son was seen, she meant snorting some coke. So one of the dudes said, Bron's kid would never. I don't know if you saw that picture that's out.
Oh, about Michael Jordan's kid snorting coke?
Yeah.
That nigga's like 40, ain't he?
Yes. And I was going to say that.
Like, why are we talking about some grown ass niggas?
Y'all making it sound like this is a little kid disappointing his dad. Like,
yeah.
Marcus Jordan's a grown man, bro. Whatever he do in his free time is his business.
He's probably doing lines of coke off Larsa Pippen's ass. We told about that.
More than likely. But
on some Wolf of Wall Street type shit. Man.
Yo, you know what's crazy though? Right? I see a lot of people. This shows you how much social media has impacted people's thinking. I see people who have debated this whole Bronny making the league and Marcus Jordan not making the league. Right? Bronny averaged what, 2.5 points, 4 points at USC?
Right.
And barely played. Marcus Jordan averaged 13 points a game in college.
At Florida International or somewhere?
At Central Florida.
Central Florida, okay.
Right. And then I went back and looked at his stats, and I'm like, damn, he averaged 13. Let me look back. He actually had a pretty respectable college career. Now, obviously, the name outweighs the production because you're a Jordan. People expect you to do more. But my point being that social media has hyped Bronny so much that we made people think that because he averaged 4 points and he's LeBron James' son, he should get a shot. Marcus Jordan obviously was an era when there was no social media. Marcus Jordan was a better college player than Bronny.
Yeah, there was there was no social media.
There was no social media.
And he was still getting that Jordan money. He was like,
right. And he just the biggest difference is he didn't have the push from his father the way that Bronny got from his dad. That's the biggest difference. Because if Mike would have held a team hostage the way Braun did and was like, yo, y'all got to draft my son, the team would have did it.
Hell yeah.
That's the biggest difference. But yeah, listen, Marcus Jordan, like I said, that's a grown fucking man. So what, he snoring coke. Big deal. It's his business.
Like, you know how many motherfuckers I know that I fucking call my brothers that do way worse than do a little bump? Come on, man.
Not do a little bump. What killed me though, this how I know Marcus been doing this for a long time. You see, he had the little spoon with him.
He did have the little.
He had a little spoon with him. Listen, if you want to know if somebody been doing coke for a while, either they got the little spoon with them or they got that long
check
pinky
that pinky finger.
They got. Thank you. Because I was telling cats at work today, if they got that one pinky nail,
hey,
you know they hit you with that right there. Yeah.
If they got that damn if they got that bewitched finger.
Yep.
Like what's going, what's on that finger.
They got that one pinky nail to poke into the package.
Hell yeah, that ain't for boogers.
No, it's for that booger sugar. You know what it is? It's the booger sugar, man.
Exactly, it's for the booger sugar.
You know what it is.
It ain't just for the boogers.
Nah, not at all. Yo, Will, give me a final thought before we wrap up.
Hey, USA. Let's get that goal tomorrow, man. Let's not. And I don't want no close game. I don't want. Nah, it ain't that. I don't want no close game. Let's blow these motherfuckers out. Let's get the goal. Let's go on.
Listen, I'm hoping for a
shout out to the opinionated ones. Shout out to E. Shout out to my man Trip Young, wherever he is tonight. Probably in New York doing some shit. Shout out to all my dudes, man. It's nothing but love. Y'all know what it is.
Yes, sir. Listen, we're gonna be.
And hey, Pooh.
Will, next week I want you to change. You see where you got your name and you got Mr. Unpopular Opinion underneath? I want you to put "Hey Pooh" in quotations underneath that.
Yeah,
we're gonna leave it up on the screen.
You know how I do it.
Listen, shout out to my brother Will Gordon. As always, we're back at it next Friday. We will be back with another episode of the Opinionated Ones. Some more football talk. Hopefully, we're celebrating an Olympic gold medal and whatever other topics come up throughout the week. Again, shout out to my brother Trip Young. It is his birthday, so I know he's out celebrating tonight.
Oh, it's his birthday.
It's his birthday, as always. Love you, my brother. And, we're going to get back together on Sunday, he and I. It's either going to be Sunday or Monday, but more than likely Sunday. I'll let him pick the date.
Happy birthday, Trip.
Absolutely. And what else we got? Again, we'll be back next week. Again, shout out to all the supporters. We greatly appreciate you guys. Without you guys, you know what I'm saying? Y'all give us the energy. Y'all don't even realize how excited we get to see the questions and the comments and get into some of these things. And some of the statements we didn't even get into because we started talking so much about other things. But we appreciate you guys. We see all the questions, all the comments. We will be back next week. For my brother Will Gordon, I am Eric Sanchez. We are the Opinionated Ones. This is the Friday Night Live with the Sanchez Show. We'll be back next week, guys. We out of here.